Mr Speaker, if that member truly believed what he said, then why aren't Māori constituents in his electorate going up to him in droves and patting him on the back saying this is a great budget? I'll tell you why. Because they're not doing that. They're not doing that at all. Because under 73% in that electorate actually earn under $40,000. They won't benefit from any of the tax cuts that he's talking about. Mr Speaker, National's budget will hurt Māori, it will hurt low-income whānau, it will hurt families with children, and it will hurt young people. This is indeed a budget of broken promises. It's not a budget that delivers to the vast majority of people in Hauraki Waikato. 73% earn under $40,000, much the same in many of the Māori electorates. There are high rates of non-participation of young children in early childhood education. Youth unemployment has increased, 16,000 young people unemployed, and that is tragic. Māori unemployment in general has increased. In 2008, when Labour was in government, that number stood at 11,700. Now, in 2010, 22,800 Māori unemployed, double the amount. So something's not happening with this government to ensure that unemployment keeps increasing, and yet members over in the government are saying that this is a good budget. The government is struggling to deliver to communities that I represent on the issues that really matter. Bread and butter issues that help whānau sustain themselves: a good job, access to affordable health care, affordable housing, a good education, reasonable expectations and a caring and responsible society. Mr Speaker, the budget has failed many in my electorate on all those fronts. Those people want to make a good go of it. Instead, when looking for a job, they're confronted with an employment market that can hire and fire in a 90-day period without warning, without reason and without care. A bit like Te Kau McClutchy on the East Coast, who got released from her job within the 90-day period, without warning, without notice, just gone like that within a 90-day period. People want certainty and protection in the labour market, and slowly but surely this government is chipping away at the rights of those people hungry to work and wanting a job. This budget proposes that tax cuts that will see greater gains for those on incomes above $70,000. Sadly, many of those aren't Māori. In fact, a good majority of those aren't Māori. So how can members of the opposition propose that this is a good budget when so many Māori are affected negatively by its consequences? How many in Hauraki Waikato will benefit from this round of tax cuts? Very, very few. Instead, approximately, as I have said, 73% of earners in Hauraki Waikato will see little or no benefit at all from tax cuts that will take effect. They will be net losers. In fact, let's look at the figures. In Hauraki Waikato, the median income is $22,000. After you calculate the tax cut, minus the ACC costs and inflation, what do you end up with? A net loss of $11.65. And members over there are saying that this is a great budget. I say not. Look at the figures. They speak for themselves. To top that off, an increase to GST will hurt those same people in whānau who will pay extra for the basics, for their kai, for their power, for their petrol, school costs for their kids, bus or train fares, rental payments and mortgage payments. The government has done a good job of creating an illusion of giving with one hand and taking with the other. It's giving with one hand and taking with the other, and that's the swindle. Whānau in Hauraki Waikato didn't vote for tax cuts to high-income earners without taking into account consequent effects in health, in education, in housing and in employment. They didn't vote for increases to GST, which will hurt them in the pocket, but they got it. The Māori Party have got a lot of explaining to do. In fact, they can't stomach the debate, that's why they can't be here to listen. Mr Speaker, Hone Harawira needs to know that it's no good speaking out if your actions don't follow your words. At the end of the day, the Māori Party have voted for these tax cuts, for the GST increases and for this budget. They didn't have the mandate to do that, but they did. But I bet you every Māori in their constituency who voted for the Māori Party did not for the tax cut package that was delivered or the GST increases that have been delivered. They will hurt in the pocket and they know it. And there is a lot of explaining of the Māori Party to do. Why? Why? Because Honu Harawira tells us that their poor list of achievements are far too many gains to give everything away now. It might happen in October the 1st. They're saying that the achievements on foreshore and seabed to repeal that act is one such reason. What is it replaced with? Public ownership. They say that the achievements on getting the government to sign the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People is a gain, but it means nothing, especially to Tūhoe. Go and ask them. Whānau Ora, that initiative, which was proposed as a saviour to all the ills within many Māori communities, well, it was supported in part by the government and only funded in part, far short of the expectation that has been raised by the Māori Party out there in many Māori communities. A measly $134 million over 4 years for Whānau Ora, only for 20 providers, will fall well short of the expectation that has been created in a number of communities. The GST increase, as I've said before, none of their constituents voted for that. In fact, they're voting for a GST decrease, yet that's not going to be delivered because their mates in the national government won't listen to anything that they have to say, and yet the Māori Party are still prepared to prop up the national government and its budget that does not deliver at all to Māori constituents. Mr Speaker, in my electorate, constituents who voted for the Māori Party have been sadly let down and had the wool pulled over their eyes. No one is talking about the budget with the same fervent glow as members on the other side of the House. Māori know that they will be hit in the pocket and slapped in the face. But what about leadership on the real issues affecting Māori? Making sure our kids get a good start in life is absolutely necessary. The government has chosen to cut funding to teacher early childhood education centres, which will seriously affect the ongoing quality of centres charged with making a difference to the lives of our children. The Youth Guarantee, I heard a member from the Māori Party promote the gain here. Too little funding for the large number of young people who are currently unemployed and those wanting to go into the workforce. That is not enough of a gain. They want a real job, a real wage. They don't want to be a part of a training go-round scenario. There is nothing in the budget on modern apprenticeship training or increasing investment in this area where young people want to increasingly take up the option to earn while they learn. Mr Speaker, what about supporting single parents? There is nothing in the budget that ensures that those with children, unsupported by a partner, have got access to the tertiary incentive allowance beyond level 4 study, to enable them to take up beyond level 4 study. Nothing whatsoever. This is a sad indictment of the way and the direction that this government is going. Mr Speaker, constituents in Hauraki Waikato want a fair go. They want to work but don't like being kicked in the guts. They want a good education to get ahead, but increasing fees may prevent that. They want a good quality of life, but the cost of living through increased GST will hurt them. They want to build a strong whānau, strong marae, strong communities, but not at the expense of creating winners and losers through contracting rounds. Mr Speaker, this budget has broken promises, and it does not at all care for the many. Instead, it cares for the few. It's not the kind of budget that I would stand up in front of my electorate and promote, and there are many members on that side of the House I'm sure would not go into many communities, Māori communities, and promote the budget in the same way that they do in this House, because they know it just does not hit the mark at all. Mr Speaker, finally, can I say to the Māori Party that they do have a lot of explaining to do. Roll on 2011, because the shallow and hollow gains that they think they have achieved will all be undone by a budget like this, which continues to undermine vulnerable, needy families, low-income families, but more importantly, the majority of Māori who want to get ahead, want a job, want to make a go of it, and are looking to the future. They know that the Māori Party have let them down badly.